like we are live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. So, today we're going to be talking about what to do if you feel like giving up. Have you ever been in a place where you're just feeling like, you know what, I can't do this. This is too hard. Um, I got nothing left. I've worked my butt off and it's not working. Now what do I do? And you might be feeling discouraged. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping. Um, or sometimes it's even you work so hard on something and you actually achieve it, but it doesn't make you happy. And you're like, I thought if I got this, I would be happy, and I'm not. I'm actually more stressed. I'm more upset than I ever was before. Have you guys felt like that before? Where you just can't seem to feel like you can let go of that feeling of discouragement and the constant negative chatter that goes on in your mind, where it just doesn't stop. And you're just like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? Because it just feels so real, so heavy sometimes that you just can't seem to get past that. And what do you do when you are in that situation? There's been many times that I've been in that dark place. And even when things seem to be going well, these feelings will come up and they will sneak up on me out of the blue. And fortunately, I have done a lot of work over the years. So when these things come up, I know how to deal with them, to be able to shift myself back to a place where I can be happy. So in the morning, I could wake up and I feel absolutely terrible. I feel like nothing's going right, that I'm just going to quit, I'm going to tap out, I'm going to give up, I've had enough, I can't do this for another minute. But if you're feeling like that, I want you to stay till the end of the video, because I'm going to share with you some very effective tools that I've used even when the thoughts got so dark that I would consider unaliving myself. Those images that would come up in my mind. And I think this has, even though I'm well past that, when I was 17, I made an actual attempt. I took action on those thoughts. And I think once you actually go down that path that far, those thoughts never fully leave you, but they don't have to take you either. So I want to share with you the things that happen when those thoughts get dark and you feel like giving up, that you can't go on another day. I want you to listen to these, because these are things that have kept me alive since I was 17, and I'm going to be 54 next month. So, if this is your first time joining me, welcome. My name is Tina, and I'm a happiness coach, and I focus on helping business owners with the emotional side of life, both personal and professional. So, if you're not a business owner, stick around. You will be able to apply these tools as well. Okay? So, the first thing, thank you, Big Boss, thank you. So the first thing that I focus on when these emotions, these dark feelings of depression or anxiety or the negative stinking thinking is what I call it, is when that comes up and it feels really heavy, it feels really hopeless. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time and I'm going to sit with those feelings. Most of the time, what we tend to do when we get in those feelings is we want to avoid them, and we want to find ways to distract ourselves, whether that's social media, whether that's drinking, whether that's drugs, whether that's work, or focusing on other people and trying to fix other people. When the thoughts get that dark, it's usually because you've been avoiding it for quite a while. And so what'll happen is that they'll gang up on you. And you really need to sit with those feelings because they're trying to tell you something. Okay? So it's, instead of running away from it, we're going to turn around, we're going to face those feelings. We're going to sit in silence, or if you can't seem to sit in silence, at least put just some relaxing meditation, like calming musical stuff. There's tons that you can look up on YouTube. So sit in silence with those emotions, and you're going to observe them. You are not going to act on any of the emotions. You're just going to sit and watch them go by. You're not going to act on them. And refuse, especially those dark thoughts, refuse to act on them knowing that they will pass. You're just going to pay attention to what emotions are coming up. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to have to start combating the lies with truth. Because when you're telling yourself, whether that is a voice from somebody, maybe it's somebody that you work with, somebody in your family, your spouse, your friend, your family member, whoever it is, usually the voice isn't directly ours. It originated with somebody else. So those lies are being whispered in your mind, and they're telling you you can't go on, that you've got nothing left, that you're exhausted, that you're completely drained. This is never going to get any better. No matter how hard I work, it's never going to change. And if those thoughts are there, they came from somebody else. They are not your thoughts, and they are not true. They are not true. So you need to learn to start combating that voice in your mind that's telling you that everything is shit, nothing can get better. You need to start combating it with the truth. That is not the truth. That this is just a temporary blip in time. And you can go from in the morning feeling like total crap, total depression, feeling like you're dragging yourself to get yourself to do things, to in the afternoon being laughing at a joke that somebody says, to feeling happy to feel the sun on your face. But you have to learn to combat the lies with truth. It is not true that this is too hard, that you have to give up. It is not true that you're useless, that you're terrible, that you're whatever fill in the blank that you're telling yourself. That you can get through this, you will get through this, that this is just a temporary blip in time. It may not be going the way that you want it to, but there is blessing in this. It's not obvious when you're in it. It is not obvious when you're in it. But if you choose the path of being able to confront the lies with the truth, and one of the ways that I do this is I start to draw on previous experiences where things have gone well for me. That maybe that was a long time ago, and maybe you're going through this dark time for a long time. It will not stay this way. It's impossible for it to stay this way. The only thing that we can rely on in this life is change. Change can be a good thing, and it can also feel like a very terrible thing when it happens. But just know that oftentimes it's not what's happening to us, but our perspective of what is happening to us. And oftentimes, I don't know how many times I've gone through something, and after I get through to the other side of it, I'll realize I'm like, oh shit, this was something that I actually prayed for, but I didn't want it to happen in that way. No, no, God. This is the way that I wanted it to go. You were supposed to make it nice, easy, smooth. If you had followed this plan, everything would have been fine. Why did you have to drag me through the knothole backwards in order to get to where I needed to go? Sometimes that's the way it goes. And sometimes you get it nice and easy, and it's not always a hell gig, right? But just understand that when you're going through these tough times, really learning to build up that voice within you of arguing things back, of when you have to confront that truth. And you can't do this if you are spending all your time distracting yourself from the emotions that you're feeling. You have to face it, you have to confront it. And so if you have dark thoughts, sitting there and confronting them. So example, when I have those dark thoughts, because I've done a lot of work and I know exactly what it is that when those dark thoughts come up, it is my attempt at trying to regain control. Because I feel out of control in that moment. I feel like I don't have the ability to influence my life in the direction that I want it to. Maybe this is happening because of a breakup. Maybe this is happening because you lost your job. Maybe it's happening because you don't have enough money to pay your bills and you don't know where you're going to get that money from. And that can be an intense emotion. That can be intense fear. When you're able to sit there and confront it and then know that this is not the truth, and even if it is, you'll find another way. As long as you're still breathing, you still have a chance to make a difference in your own life. It's just, it may not be happening the way that you want it to. It may not be unfolding the way you thought it would. And when those dark thoughts come, it's almost like a childlike way of trying to find a way to feel like you have some sort of control. And when you lean into it and you accept that you feel powerless in that moment, and you feel the emotions of feeling powerless, and knowing that it's not true, that's where you have to rely on a power greater than yourself. And this is where my faith in God comes from. And my faith in God, although it's Christian and it's Jesus, I didn't start out that way. I didn't have faith, and I didn't have, and I'm still not a big churchgoer or anything else like that. But it's a God of my understanding. It's one that works for me. And I really was not a believer. I started out by asking for proof. So if you're not a believer and this is not something that you normally do, I invite you to at least try that. Show some sort of proof of, and if it's logic or science, it's like, okay, then use law of averages, or that, something statistical or strategic to focus on when you're in those dark times, because they will not last forever. And if you're accepting that in this moment that you feel powerless, one of the ways that you can shift your focus, and this is the third thing, is after you've accepted where you are at and what it is that you're feeling, even those dark, uncomfortable, or sad, or depressed thoughts or moments, you want to shift the focus to what is right. So when you have gone down that dark path and you are feeling like, you know what, this is never going to get any better. That is not true. It will get better. and a lot faster than you think it is, especially if you fully embrace those emotions and you've sat with them fully. It may mean you cry. It may mean you rage. It might, don't rage at others. Don't bust up your stuff. Try to find a way to use that energy in a productive manner so that you are not compounding the disaster, okay? So if you feel like you need to yell and scream and get that out of your system, then go in a car wash or something and scream in your car, right? Or go for a hike where there's nobody around and just yell to get that out of your system. But don't yell at your dog, don't yell at your cat, don't yell at your spouse or your kids or your workers or, yourself. Don't just scream that stuff out and harm somebody else, because then that'll just compound how terrible you already feel, because now not only do you feel depressed, now you feel like you deserve to be depressed or upset or not good enough, because you're adding more evidence to that pile of shame and guilt and not feeling in control of your life. So stop some of the bleeding by making sure you don't add to the already bad situation. That's why in step 1 I said sit with it. If you have to sit on your hands, just sit in silence with the emotions you're feeling, observe them going by. Combat the lies with the truth. Know that if you have those dark thoughts, it's just your attempt to regain control. So the third part is when you shift the focus, you want to shift the focus on what is right. What is right about you? What is something that you do that you actually like, that you admire about yourself, that you like about yourself, that when things are going well, how do you feel? Focusing on those kind of things. And if you're having a hard time doing that, it's like, Tina, you don't friggin' understand. I feel like a bag of shit right now. I don't feel good. I lost my, best friend. I lost my spouse. I lost my mom, my dad, whatever it is that you're feeling. It's like nothing's going to bring them back, Tina. I feel terrible. Okay. So when you're in this, shift the focus to what's right. What helps when I am in this state is focusing on what is right in front of me. Have I gotten dressed today? Have I had a shower? Did I put my makeup on? Did I do my hair? Did I feed the cats? Did I make my bed? Whatever is right in front of you, focus on doing that and doing that as right as you possibly can. This removes that feeling of powerlessness, and it makes you feel like you have some sort of control, and you start building on those small successes. Did you eat today? Did you drink water today? Did you go outside today? What is it that is right in front of you that you actually have control over? This is going to shift your perspective of feeling powerless, feeling out of control, feeling like things are never going to get any better. You focus on getting what is right in front of you done right to the best of your ability, and then keep going and looping through these 3 steps until you get back to where you're feeling better. When I do these 3 steps, I find that I will feel more energized. I'm not feeling dragged down. I'm not feeling exhausted anymore. I'm not feeling so depressed. I have shifted the perspective from this is too hard and I can't do it and I need to quit to, okay, use that quitting as a carrot and trick yourself by saying, I'm allowed to quit after I get this done. I promise you by the time you get that thing done, you're not going to feel like you need to quit anymore because you've actually accomplished something. So you've shifted your perspective from focusing on the things you can't do to the focusing on the things that you can do. And this is going to help you, even if it helps you for an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours or a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever it is that you have to do to keep yourself moving forward, even if you're just crawling around a millimeter at a time, you still have a chance. You still have a fight in the game. And don't be focusing on what everybody else is doing. Focus only on what it is that you're doing and what it is that you have control over in your immediate life, whatever it is. Okay? Those are the three things that I find help me the most. A bonus thing is having somebody else in your corner when your voice, because in the beginning I needed somebody else's voice to tell me what was possible. I wasn't able to do that on my own. Some of it was from programming. Some of it was the voices of other people were so much more powerful than mine. And I had to learn to build that up. So if you need help building that positive voice in your own mind, in your own life, maybe it's just you're going through a really hard time and you're not sure how to bounce back from that. Maybe everything to everybody else seems fine, but you don't feel like you have anybody that you can actually talk to about some of this stuff. What I'd like you to do is, if you're on TikTok and you go to my profile, there's a link with a calendar link that you can book in a call with me. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, when I upload the replay, click on the calendar link that's in the description and book in a call with me, and we'll talk about whether or not I can help you as a happiness coach and see if we can help you build that positive voice within you so that you can get through this challenge, this hard time, a bit faster than you would if you are on your own. Okay? So guys, that is the training for today. I hope you found this helpful, and if you haven't subscribed, check out YouTube. If you're just catching in, I see a couple of people joined a little bit later on TikTok. Join me, Coach Tina B 125 on YouTube. And if you want more help, book in a call with me and we'll talk. It's a free call, and I'll let you know whether or not I think I can actually help you, okay? So guys, have a great night and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.